Our next speaker is Wendy, and she's going to talk about mastery in human clothing.
And that we are. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, today's topic is a form for mastery. So, first of all, what is mastery? Well, we're humans walking around thinking we are merely human, when indeed we are divine. That is who we are. We are individualized expressions of the one Creator, walking around in the experience of being human. And at this point in our evolution, as most all of you all know, we are getting ready to truly own and embody that truth, that we are an individualized expression of the one God Creator. Therefore, we are divine. And just for a mini version quote of the first chapter in Genesis and the Judeo-Christian theory, I want to bring that point in because it's really about us focusing on this particular truth, to own this in such absolute knowing. This is where we really come into stepping into our mastery. So it says, "And God created man in his image and likeness, and gave him dominion over the lands, the sea, and the air, and the creatures therein." Okay, that's my short, sweet, simple little version of it. And the point being is the word dominion. That is our divine birthright. And what does dominion really mean? Dominion really means absolute ownership and supreme authority. So if dominion is our birthright, and that is what that really means, that means that we indeed are God in this world. So that's one way of being able, as a human being, to recognize that this was already gifted to us. This is who we are. We are the divine in the human vehicle. So when we came to the point in the journey as individualized expressions of God, that we entered into the adventure of the third dimensional reality, we took on a cloak that created an unknowing. We became blind, if you would say, to the truth of who we are. We no longer could see, remember, and know the truth of our being. And so, for me, there was actually a purpose behind creating the third dimension. And it ties into what I call the original wound of separation. And it goes all the way back to origin. The first experience of leaving home. The first experience of feeling the initial separation from the oneness, the bliss, and the love. So essentially it's like a child being given birth. Even though this is another form of feeling the wound of separation, it actually is representative of the original wound of separation. If we all originated from the oneness, the bliss, the love, the peace. No need, no desire, simply love. And this is our origin, and this is what we all deeply remember. And yet, at that first birth, that each and every one of us was sent forth into the adventure to experience all that is, so that the one can become aware of itself, to experience itself. It certainly did create a separation through each individualized spark of light that was sent forth. And for the first time ever, each individualized spark experienced a feeling of separation. We were no longer within the womb of the Father-Mother, or the mother of the Father, Father, Mother, God. And we were birthed into the vastness of all that is and experienced that initial aloneness instead of the oneness. And so there is that initial wound of separation from having always been one, always been connected, always been in bliss and love, to out into the void, because nothing had been created as yet. And we experienced what felt like abandonment to some, absolute aloneness. Some may have experienced feeling, why am I out here all alone? Is there something wrong with me? Was I deserted out here alone, abandoned? Am I flawed? Was I left here? Or some felt angry. Some aspects were like, well, what in the world? Where is that? Why am I by myself? This isn't right. You know, there's a lot of different perceptions on this initial wound of separation. But there is a sense of separation. And I believe the third dimensional reality was created for the purpose of achieving a complete healing of this original wound of separation, because in the third dimensional reality, we are so veiled from our true identity when we enter into this field of experience that is, you know, we are absolutely veiled from that knowing of our divine nature, that we're walking around trying to figure out what we're doing here and what's going on. And many of us experience many experiences that simply do not feel right. We experience people being unkind and unloving and angry and brutal, and there's something inside of us that knows that that's not right. And we don't understand why it's like that. Well, that ties into that original wound of separation. So I feel that the purpose of this journey through this illusionary world was for the opportunity to be so seemingly removed from the truth of who we are, that as we experience all of the appearances of the separation, that we innately inside go, why is it like this? I know it isn't meant to be this way. Why is it like this? So we seek and we learn and we read and we go to classes and we experience and we look for answers. We look for an understanding of why we experience life the way we do in the third dimensional reality of seeming separation from the love that we, each and every one of us, are, and that we are meant to live in every moment. So we're at that place where we've evolved for a long period of time, and we've come to recognize that, yeah, all right, this is illusionary. So what is this really about? All right, I got to that place to where I went, okay, all these things I've experienced that are reflecting all of the oppositions of love, all the expressions of fear from feeling separate that have been demonstrated in my world, and I know that it's not meant to be like this. How can I change this? How can I break free from this illusion? And that begins with your mastery, and the piece that's going to take you into moving into that mastery is, first of all, accepting the responsibility that it's up to you. It's up to you